From the moment The Rock teased he'd be replacing Cody Rhodes as Roman Reigns' opponent at WrestleMania, fans turned on the Great One, with The Rock booed by fans wherever he appears. Thankfully, WWE made clear during the WrestleMania kickoff press conference that Rhodes will be challenging Reigns in April, but that didn't stop The Rock from being booed at the event. WWE are leaning into Rock's negative response by turning him heel, and his character will be a throwback of sorts to one of his previous runs. According to WrestleVotes, The Rock's character will be inspired by his 2003 Hollywood persona, which is considered one of Rock's very best runs as a bad guy. Fans can anticipate the release of Rock-branded Cody Crybabies merchandise after the Brahma Bull mocked those rooting for Rhodes during an appearance on The Pat McAfee Show. The Rock may be one of the most popular men in Hollywood and the good guy in countless movies, but as WWE fans know, he can excel as a heel and expect plenty more of this in the coming months. Typically, a WWE superstar will not simply admit to being a heel, but after some very harmful fake comments that were shared online, The Rock felt it necessary to break kayfabe. In a recent tweet, The Rock confirmed that he will be a heel on WWE programming moving forward when a troll tried to use the negative response Rock has received for their own political motivations. When Nick Sorter tried to claim that the fans were booing The Rock because the controversy surrounding his Maui Wildfire Fund, the Great One felt it necessary to step in. The Rock explained that despite what Sorter claimed in his false clickbait garbage, that the fans were booing him because he has turned heel and was playing up the character to the crowd. Sorter tried to claim the fans were chanting Maui when it's obvious they were chanting Cody, and it goes to show that The Rock knows when to call out so-called journalists on their fake reports. Of course, The Rock is not just a WWE on-screen performer right now, but recently joined TKO Group Holdings as part of the company's board of directors. As part of his induction, the Brahma Bull was given a tour of WWE's new headquarters and was able to share a wholesome moment with his friend and former rival, Triple H. Speaking with ET ahead of the kickoff event, The Rock revealed that Triple H's tour proved to be an emotional one for the third-generation superstar. He said, "Triple H goes, 'Hey, I got one more thing to show you.' And we went downstairs where you see on the wall these pictures of these wrestlers. He goes, 'Oh, look at that one.' And over in the corner is this incredibly well-lit picture, black and white, of my dad and Tony Atlas the day they made history and became the first black tag team champions. I've never seen that picture before, and I was so choked up, I was really moved. In that moment, I thought, man, they were wrestling in what was a field house back then, and wrestling has changed. My dad just made history, and the bumps and bruises and the sacrifices that he made, and that all those guys made. Now we're talking about the biggest WrestleMania of all time, and the company signs a $5 billion deal with Netflix. It's just incredible." The Rock's father, Rocky Johnson, won the World Tag Team Championship alongside Tony Atlas in 1983 to become the first black tag team champions in WWE history. The Rock has since become a much bigger star than his father, but will never forget his roots, and thanks to WWE's headquarters, neither will those working in the offices in Stamford. On this week's Raw, Seth Rollins pledged his loyalty to Cody Rhodes, even offering to be a shield for the American Nightmare ahead of his war with the Bloodline. Rhodes will need all the help he can get to overcome the might of Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa, and seemingly The Rock, but can the World Heavyweight Champion be trusted? According to one report, the answer is no, as sources have indicated that one idea being pitched is for Rollins to turn on Rhodes when it matters most. The belief is that Rollins has been waiting since 2022 to get his revenge on Rhodes after Cody bested him at 3 PLEs, with their final match seeing Rhodes win despite his torn pectoral injury. It's worth mentioning that this is one of many ideas being thrown around within WWE's creative team, so it may or may not make it to programming. Rollins has had his issues with Rhodes, but he's also got beef with Reigns and his often absent title run, and what do you make of this idea? Let us know in the comments. Like we said, the negative reaction to Rock's return led to WWE changing course as the company simply couldn't ignore the might of the We Want Cody movement. From WWE TV to live events to social media, fans were steadfast in their demand, but while WWE may have changed course, Grayson Waller isn't impressed. Speaking with Kenny McIntosh of Inside the Ropes, Waller noted that the fans' reaction to The Rock has boggled his mind. He said, "I've never in my life seen so many people who could barely read and write caring about a story. It absolutely boggles my mind. A few months ago, everyone was saying, 'Oh, Rock, come back. How long have they wanted The Rock versus Roman Reigns?' People have been begging for it for years, and then they get it, and now they're complaining about it. It just shows in a way how stupid these fans are. They want this, but then they say, 'We don't want it now, we want it here.' It's like, just shut up." Whether Waller agrees with it or not, WWE is listening to what the fans have been saying, and we'll have to wait and see whether we ever get The Rock and Roman Reigns one-on-one. Over to NXT, and Femi put over Dragon Lee as a worthy challenger before being confronted by Lexis King, and the North American champion agreed to a match next week. King tried to lay out Femi but was sent packing by the champion, who, while not quite there on the mic, is getting better, unlike King, who continues to sound uncomfortable with WWE promos. This is not the most exciting title match follow-up for Femi, but it will be an interesting test for the big man, as he will be the crowd favorite. Femi should fight a variety of opponents in the coming months, testing himself as a fresh act. He can build his legacy quickly, even if his next title defense is likely to be a bit of a dud. Brooks Jensen started a brawl with Josh Briggs after his comments last week, prompting NXT General Manager Ava to tell them to settle this in the ring. NXT also saw another mysterious vignette, with this one talking about the evil of human nature, echoing a phrase of philosopher Zunzi. This is the second promo in this style, after the first spoke of a person having 3 faces during NXT Vengeance Day. And who do you think these vignettes are building towards? With the NXT tag titles on the line, Baron Corbin was flying around the ring to save the match for his team, clearly motivated to win his first WWE Gold since 2017. This paid off as he'd set up Braun Breaker to spear Channing Stacks Lorenzo for the win, in the clear highlight of the show, as the NXT and This Is Awesome chants can attest. Breaker and Corbin worked this match like a true tag team against a family that has dominated the division for the past year, and Tony D'Angelo worked the match like it was his most important bout. Since this is the second time the family have lost the NXT Tag Team Championships, the Don may not hold gold again for a while, but hopefully the future is still bright for the Don and his underboss. The pair remain 2 of NXT's best characters, but it was obvious Corbin and Breaker were the hotter team, and the Wolf Dogs continue to be an interesting pairing. While heels, the pair are popular as a unit, and it could be interesting to see them fully embrace the role, even after they lose the gold and head to the main roster. Now, Brock Lesnar's been pulled from all of WWE's plans due to his tie to the Janelle Grant lawsuit, and recently the Beast Incarnate made a rare public appearance outside the company. Lesnar was recently spotted with his daughter Maya after her win in the women's shot put, and her 19.07 meter throw is just the latest impressive achievement by the junior Lesnar. Maya Lesnar has earned all Mountain West honors and previously came in first place in the weight throw while competing at the Indoor Mountain West Championships. Brock was seen hugging his daughter, clearly proud of her accomplishments, and while Maya's future looks bright, Brock's own story looks increasingly uncertain. On this week's Raw, it was confirmed that Jey Uso will challenge Intercontinental Champion Gunther next week in what'll be Jey's first shot at the coveted Workhorse title. On this week's Raw, Jey and the New Day were able to defeat Imperium, with Uso getting the pinfall over Giovanni Vinci, and could this be a sign of things to come? Currently, Gunther is dealing with visa issues, which is restricting how much he can travel, which is why his title match with Jey is happening on Raw and not at Elimination Chamber Perth. Between these issues and WWE wanting to build Jey up, this has led to speculation that Gunther's reign will end next week in a shocking turn that will prove to be a huge talking point. Jey winning the gold will not only give the main event talent a title win to back up his lofty nickname, but it'll allow for the IC title to be defended in Australia. WWE no longer enforces the rematch rule unless it suits the storyline, which means Uso wouldn't owe the Austrian an immediate rematch and could face someone else in Perth. Having Gunther's record-breaking reign end next week would be a shock, which may be why WWE pulls the trigger, but we'll just have to find out if a new champion is crowned next week. Raw featured plenty of WWE's biggest superstars on the current roster, but the show also saw a name from the Attitude Era in attendance. According to Fightful Select, Al Snow wasn't just in attendance for Raw, but he would also meet up with the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes after the show for a photograph. In WWE, Snow is a former hardcore, European, and tag team champion, though is perhaps these days best known for his work with OVW, which was covered in Netflix's Wrestlers docuseries. Cody Rhodes had a busy night at Raw as he unleashed a scathing promo on The Rock before helping Sami Zayn fend off a 2-on-1 assault, but he still had time to meet up with the master of Head. Next month, AEW will host its big business event from Boston, Massachusetts, and if all signs are to be believed, the show will see the official debut of Mercedes Moné. That show will be taking place on March 13th, but fans won't have to wait that long to see the former IWGP and WWE Women's Champion. Mone will be presenting at the 2024 Crunchyroll Anime Awards on Saturday, March 2nd, and we'll have to see if she makes any allusions to soon being All Elite. At WrestleMania 38, Steve Austin shocked the world by competing in his first match in 19 years and was able to hang in the ring with Kevin Owens before defeating the prizefighter. Then, when CM Punk returned to WWE last year, speculation immediately grew about a potential match with Austin, something that fans always wanted to see despite Austin's retirement. Sitting down with ESPN recently, Austin was asked about returning to the ring and said he always would tell people he'd never wrestle again unless all the stars aligned, and they did back in 2022. Given his match with Owens, Austin said he'll never say no to anything, as you can never say never in the wrestling business, before addressing a potential match with Punk. He said, "I like Punk and I think Punk likes me, so as long as he can take a stone cold stunner, I consider him a great friend, a great guy, and a great wrestler who's had a great career. We'll see." Austin added that the match would be a good one, and while it can't happen now given Punk's torn triceps injury, the Texas Rattlesnake isn't ruling out the idea. But what do you think of this idea? Are you hoping to see CM Punk and Stone Cold finally lock horns in a WWE ring? Let us know in the comments down below. For months now, there has been speculation over the contract of Drew McIntyre, as we know his deal will shortly expire after April, and he'll be gone unless a new contract is signed. Some have speculated that McIntyre could be leaving and debut for AEW at All In 2 inside London's Wembley Stadium, but that may not be happening, going off an upcoming WWE event. This week it was announced that WWE will host a live event in Bologna, Italy on May 1st, and despite this being after McIntyre's expiration date, the Scottish Warrior is being advertised for the show. Now, it's worth mentioning that these lineups are subject to change, but for the time being, WWE is certainly expressing the opinion that McIntyre will be under contract by that time. Drew will be in the men's Elimination Chamber match, in which the winner will challenge Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, so perhaps he'll walk into Italy with some gold to match his new contract. In addition to being a wrestler, Rocky Romero has proven to be quite the effective backstage hand for New Japan in the past, but now he is officially working for AEW. F4W Online's daily update confirmed that the former New Japan liaison has a front office position for Tony Khan, and this was later confirmed by Sean Ross Sapp. In addition to this new role, Romero currently holds the MLW World Middleweight Championship, so he'll be kept plenty busy both in and out of the ring. Last December, Charlotte Flair went down with a knee injury that has derailed all plans for the Queen, including any plans WWE had for her at WrestleMania 40. Flair has since undergone surgery, and while it was initially believed she'd be out for 9 months, given a return date of September or October at the very earliest, she may be back sooner than that. While speaking on CNBC Power Lunch, Charlotte Flair revealed she is ahead of schedule in rehab from her surgery. As she explained, "I'm 6 weeks out Thursday, I'm ahead of schedule, and every day all I can think about is returning back to the ring, especially with all the excitement with Raw going to Netflix, WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia, all I can think about is getting back and winning that number 15. Flair is already a 14-time women's champion, which is recognized over 1 Divas title reign, 6 Raw women's title reigns, and 7 SmackDown women's title reigns. If history is any indication, Charlotte will be thrust back into the title picture once she's back on TV, which could be far sooner than expected if the Queen of All Eras is to be believed. This week, the WWE Experience Center will open in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia as part of Riyadh season, and the venue will feature several WWE-themed attractions. On Twitter, Triple H shared one such attraction, an escape room experience in which fans must try to escape the graveyard of The Undertaker. The game himself has fallen 3 times to the Phenom at WrestleMania, but perhaps those who attend the WWE Experience will have better luck in The Undertaker's graveyard. Now, the Vince McMahon allegations have rocked the wrestling world and have reopened dialogues about the safety of women in the business, with a lot of people giving their take on the situation. Former and current WWE stars have shared their 2 cents on McMahon and the acts he's alleged to have committed, but Tony Khan isn't going to speak at length about his former rival. While speaking to Amy Kaplan of Fansided, Tony Khan was asked about the safety measures AEW has implemented to protect women, particularly in light of the McMahon allegations. He said, "I can't comment on the terrible allegations against WWE right now. That's something people are paying a lot of attention to right now with good reason. For us, first and foremost, trying to create a safe locker room environment for everybody, women and men, and we have a really good bond. I think we have a really great locker room, and everyone knows there is a support system there." Khan highlighted the strong bond within their locker room, emphasizing the support system in place with various channels for communication, as well as the importance of a safe, positive workspace. The AEW president added that having people who will listen is crucial in any workplace, and we'll make sure to follow the McMahon allegations as more details come to light. When Matt Riddle was cut from WWE last year, many expected he'd join TNA Wrestling, and while that hasn't happened yet, the two sides have been in touch. On the Sunday Night's Main Event podcast, Riddle discussed his post-WWE plans, expressing a desire to take a break from regular TV commitments due to the stress of live shows and constant travel. Riddle did acknowledge the financial benefits and valuable experience of WWE and admitted that he's engaged with various promotions, including TNA. Riddle added that he'd also spoken with New Japan and MLW, both promotions he's appeared for, and said he preferred pay-per-view events over the challenges of live TV. While Riddle enjoys the pressure of live TV, he's ready for a break from the hectic schedule and constant script changes he's experienced while competing on Raw. Riddle recently won his first championship post-WWE and is slated to face Hiroshi Tanahashi for the NJPW World TV Championship at the upcoming New Beginning in Sapporo show on February 23rd. Matt Riddle had a controversial time in WWE but is now relishing in his fresh start, which may include many more titles in the future. Back to NXT, and Metaphor picked up a win over Von Wagner and Mr. Stone this week, though it's hard to see Wagner consistently booked as a loser despite his size. In a gauntlet match with Gallus, Ridge Holland leveled Wolfgang with the Northern Grit to win the first match before Joe Coffey attacked Holland while Mark Coffey was the legal man. This caused the DQ, but Holland was able to overcome a 3-on-1 assault thanks to a steel chair, and it was up to officials to stop him. The referee at ringside, who was there to make sure Gallus didn't interfere, was clearly bad at his job, and Holland seemed to realize that he can go overboard with his attack on Gallus after the officials got involved. Holland is a good in-ring worker, especially with talent that plays to his physical strengths, and his chemistry with Wolfgang and especially Mark Coffey was obvious despite the lame finish. This was the perfect chance to establish how dangerous Gallus can be, but instead, he technically beat the entire group, who couldn't abide by the rules of a match already heavy in their favor. The booking has been awkward for Holland, who is still struggling to get over with a generous NXT Universe crowd, and hopefully whoever sides with him will bring out his personality. In the latest chapter of Chase U's financial troubles, JC Jane paid off the Chase U debt as Andre Chase brought back together his classroom for the spring semester. Encouraged by Lyra Valkyria, Tatum Paxley kicked out of the roundhouse kick and spinning back fist of Lola Vice, but in the end, Vice got the win, and she's showing more potential each week. Adriana Rizzo showed toughness in her fight with Jada Parker, but she was completely outmatched. Parker took her down with a clothesline. Despite a strong effort for Joe Gacy, it was Carmelo Hayes' nothing but net that scored the former NXT champion the win, and this was a fine match that should have been better given the talent. The story was poorly told as Melo continued to work the same way he always has, rather than building upon his heat with the fans, and Gacy too had some poor storytelling. Gacy dominates matches while working as a babyface, and while he was the obvious power wrestler this week, Melo needed the momentum in his first heel match in years. There were multiple dueling chants for both men in the match, despite the supposed heat for Melo with the NXT Universe. The eccentricities of Gacy, though, are getting over, as the crowd reacts when he does weird things like smiling maniacally and using the underneath of the ring. Melo mocked Gacy while pulling at his hair outside, and Gacy was unfazed as he headbutted his opponent, rolled under the ring, then blasted Melo with a tope suicida. Obviously, the right man won. Melo is building up his resume ahead of challenging Ilya Dragunov again, and no one but the Mad Dragon or Trick Williams should beat him just yet. Dijak had been seen watching the footage from last week and angrily slammed his laptop shut and post-match attacked Gacy and put him in a straitjacket. Perhaps the straitjacket will play into the pair's inevitable rematch, as the issues between them are clearly not over. Kiana James got a little too cocky early, allowing Brinley Reese to take over the action early. However, a 401k and bankruptcy sealed the victory for James in a fun but forgettable NXT match. And we're ending with Bray Wyatt, who tragically passed away at the age of 36, but fans will still be able to keep his memory strong as part of WWE 2K24. This week, it was confirmed that The Fiend will be in the game, with a video of his entrance being shared online, and we're sure the late superstar will prove immensely popular in the new game.